out to the queen.
So my sarcastic ladies, anyway, sent me a crown. And I have to say, it is a very beautiful crown. I mean, I could walk around in it because it's just such a beautiful crown. So I'm going to take some pictures with it. So I do have to say, you know, my crazy ladies all get together and send me lots of things. So we've got this, which is my Brian, which is a goat, which is an inside joke, shall we say, about scammers. And of course, there was all sorts of bits and pieces. But this I love.
Yeah. We had the My Queen Me picture done, and it is gorgeous.
It really is. I'll tell you why. Because I've always wanted to get dressed up like that. You know, you go to these places where you can get really dressed up. I've always wanted to do that. And that looks like I did it.
It does.
And it feels like I did it very strangely. You know, it feels, you know, sort of that it looked real. So I was very, very impressed with that. It's lovely.
Yeah, we were too, actually.
Yeah, bet you were. I mean, it's just amazing. I will say, surprisingly, really, I'm too close. Surprisingly, really, that the last couple of weeks have maybe been the busiest. Have maybe been the busiest that we've had of all the Christmases that we've done. Because coming up to Christmas, we're often slightly busy. Then you got 24th is all right, but not too bad. Then you got the 25th, which we get visitors, you know, we get people coming, but it's not too bad. 26th, you know, it's often people asking questions. But this last 2 weeks has been constant.
Right. And when I came on earlier, I was telling them that we were going to talk more about she said instead of he said, because we have had some come to us.
We have. Now, we have around, when we look at the stats, we have around 70-something% women and the rest men. So we, you know, we know there is many scams out there for men.
Right.
You know, because we see them, but we don't get as many coming to us. Now, lots of military fiancés, sadly, and Maria. Yeah, I mean, I've still got a General Daniel B. Allen fiancé. And she's cut off the family. She will not have it because she has had a sign with her name on from Daniel B. Allen. Now, Dan retired in 2017.
Yeah, I think so.
He has a job with one of the banks.
I can't remember. Some of them are CEOs of this and that, and some of them have to do with military security. Some have their own businesses. Yeah. You know, a lot of their generals that they're using right now are actually retired and have been retired for a few years.
Good, Joe. I'm pleased about it. I really am. I mean, the one thing I remember about Daniel B. Allen is it's Daniel Bartlett Allen. But the one thing I remember about him was the fact that he joined the army and he went to Fort one of them, you know, and he met a lady there called Debbie. And this was in his, you know, early training after West Point, you know, and they met there and they got married. And you know, the nice thing is they're still married.
And actually, a lot of the generals are still married to their spouses that they've had for years.
Yeah. You don't get many of them who aren't. And this woman is telling her family that his wife has died 5 years ago of cancer. And she thinks she's got one of the good ones. She's aware of scammers. She knows there's scams. But she thinks she's got one of the good ones. And she will not listen. So I've set Pam on to her.
Well, hopefully Pam can talk some sense into her. Pam is really good at interventions. She has a little trick why they get to call the scammers or try and video chat with the scammers' wives there talking to the victim.
Yeah.
And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But we've had
There is so much
a couple of men today that have been,
yeah.
to say the least, and I'm sorry to say this, they are very boneheaded as well.
Oh, they have been. And you know, Sandy, they took so many hours, you know. So let me tell you about the first one. The first one is a gentleman from Sweden,
Mm-hmm.
and he met a lady who said she was English. She didn't look English. The thing is about Europe, you know, everybody looks.
Sorry.
Sandy, is that your dinner? Yeah, the thing about Europe is it's like, you know, in America you've got a huge, great big place with different states, but ours are different countries. So if somebody's Russian, they tend to look Russian, you know. Yeah, well, Denise, I had them first, so I think it's only fair, to be honest, that you got them
You
next. So
better take care of it before I come on later tonight.
yeah,
I don't
just
want them.
don't worry about it, Sandy. You'll get them. Anyway, we've got this gentleman. Now he came to tell us that they're moved on in their tricks now, in their methods of doing things, because he started to talk to this woman, then he met her in person, then they carried on talking. Now, when they say that, we know they have not met them in person.
That's true.
And how many times do we get
Never
it?
seen any of them that have met them in real life, even though we have, I would say, about 10% that say they have.
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know whether it's, you know, obviously when people come to us, they aren't aware the fact that we see thousands of these, and we don't know, you know, that we know what happens. So,
Right.
but again, so this woman, as you did, she lived in Manchester. She went across to Sweden to start to study nursing. She thought she liked it, so she'd stay there a while. Now that's fine, but you can't just do that. There's visas that you can't just walk into a nursing school and say, "Hi, can I stay?" And there's the little problem that in Sweden they speak Swedish, and you know she was supposed to be from Manchester, but there was one word that jumped out at us, wasn't there? One word that jumped out at us, because then she decided to finish her nursing training in Ghana. Nobody finishes their nursing training in Ghana, you
No.
know.
And
And,
honestly,
and
if they're going to travel from country to country to do nursing training, depending on what country you're in, you've got to follow their guidelines to become a nurse. So if you're going from Sweden, you're going to have to, you know, train in Sweden, go through their guidelines, take their testing in order to practice. If you move to Ghana, you're going to have to go through some of their courses and refresh to the way that they do things, and you have to test to practice there. You know, because I knew a lady that was actually from England. She's my ex-sister-in-law, and she was a nurse in England. And when she got married, you know, they went through the process of getting the visa and everything, and she came to the U.S. Well, they told her she could not practice to be a nurse without taking probably 2 more years of college,
yeah,
and then go ahead and test in the U.S. in order to become a nurse in the U.S.
yeah. And you see, scammers just have the world, and anybody can go anywhere in the world, and anybody can do anything in the world. I'll tell you a very, very quick little story, and I'm sure you're not going to be shocked. We have a problem in the United Kingdom because they decided we didn't have enough nurses. That's because basically they don't train enough. But anyway, so they decided to bring over 750 Nigerians to work as nurses in the National Health Service. Never guess what? They found out that their documents and their diplomas were fake. They were all.
I
They had
remember talking about this a while back.
They had these people working in hospitals. You know, heaven's sake. Anyway, so we've got this woman who's, you know, in Ghana. Now, Ghana's one of the main places for scammers to scam men.
Right.
Because the Ghana boys sort of, I don't know why. I think they just found out it worked. So they, you know, why change something if it works? So this guy sent quite a lot of money to Ghana. Oh, but I've got proof. Okay, well,
Right.
so let's go back to his story after he'd met her. Well, you know, we had many hour-long video chats. Oh,
Right.
did you? So then he said yes, but then, you know, I realised it was a 2 or 3 minute video played over and over, which was quite confusing. Because I wouldn't do that for an hour and not know that it's a video played over and over and have quite a few of them.
Right. I mean, the same actions over and over and over, you know, like looped.
Yeah.
Who would not notice that?
So then we decided that not only had he not met her, they hadn't had any video calls, they just texted. I can understand that he wanted to make it sound. I understand he feels a bit silly now because he's lost a few thousand, and I understand he didn't want to, but it doesn't help. Doesn't help
Right.
him get sorted out.
And
You know, it doesn't help him
that's
learn.
a lot of time in this scam too. 16, 17 months, if I remember right. So, you know, that's losing a year and a half of your life, totally wrapped up in another person that has lied to you for that whole year and a half.
As it turned out, poor girl. Do you know what happened? Oh, I'll show you this while I'm
Oh yes,
taking that
we got this
with me to London.
phone cover. I'm gonna have to get one when I get a new phone.
You really, really do want one of these. This is elite, you know. But do you know what happened with this woman? The microphone didn't work on her phone, so they only had to text. And
Right.
he accepted that. Now, on on an image search, it was very easy to find that she was a Russian porn star.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes, you know, it's easy to find these things. And so I felt sorry for him. I felt sorry for him because he was lying to me. I mean, I had to shout at him a bit because he wouldn't stop lying to me. But that didn't do anybody any good.
No, and that's why we ask when people come to us. We've heard it all. We've seen it all. Please be truthful, because then we can help you more effectively.
I'm not going to judge you for being in a scam, but I am going to judge you for lying to me. For those of you that know me, especially our ladies, I did say to them, I got some wonderful presents, and I'm going to do a little video so I can show everybody just what they are. And I did get some lovely presents. But you know, there's one thing they didn't get me, and I'm
Uh-oh.
very disappointed. You didn't get me any patience.
Oh, well, no, I don't know if we can package that up and mail it.
Because I don't have any. I didn't used to. I used to be the most patient person alive. I haven't now. So yeah, and you know, so I spent about 3 hours with this man when I could have spent an hour with him, because the first 2 hours were picking apart the stories he was telling me. So what I want to say is, if you are approached by, if you're a gentleman and you're approached by a female and there are funny things going on, it's not going to be real. Now, you can either accept that or you cannot. But the one thing that we want to say to you is don't send money.
Right.
That's the whole thing. If you want to know if it's a scam or not, you can keep in it if you want to. Don't send money. And all the money had gone to Ghana, funnily enough. When she was in Sweden, she was fine. But, all the money had gone to Ghana, to the same place. And it was an account that was associated with an email address. And he presented that to me as proof, which, of course, it wasn't.
Right. And to them, it is, because they
Yes,
are,
because it's official.
and the pages look real. Some of the bank accounts look real, especially when they use money mules. So when you're deep in a scam and you're listening to them and you tune everything else out, any proof that anybody shows you is not going to be real. Only what the scammer is telling you, because you want to believe so deeply that they are real, and sadly they're not.
Pam once explained it to me very well. She said he would be quite cruel to her. In a couple of days, he wouldn't even text. And she said the absolute adrenaline rush when she got that ping on her phone, and it was him. The dopamine, the adrenaline, everything. She said it was just wonderful. Oh, he's back. Yeah, he's get another one back as well. Oh, he's back. And basically he could have said anything to her, because she was so pleased that she heard from him. And
Right. It's an
yeah,
adrenaline rush, like people that jump out of, airplanes for a
yeah,
rush. When you're in a scam and you hear that ping, you get that rush of all the positive endorphins and, hey,
yeah.
he's texting me again, and you feel good. And then you believe anything you're told, which is sad.
It was, because she was so, but it didn't matter what he said to her. She was just so pleased that he'd come back to her. But I remember Rebecca saying exactly the same thing, because the scammer had said that they were busy.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot of work to do next year. The other gentleman, he was in a relationship with a porn star, a reformed porn star.
We get those a lot with the men. They're reformed, or they're trying to get out of the business. Can you help me?
Yeah.
Or they're holding me against my will and making me do this. Can you buy out my contract?
And it was just, she was an ex, it's Lana Brooke, and she was an ex porn star. She wasn't going by the name Lana Brooke at first, it was a different name. And so she had, she was going by, he was in with this. But they'd invented a sister-in-law, children.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a whole family. There was a whole extended family in this. And I kept saying, what proof have you got? Have you had these video calls? Well, no. So, have you had any, just phone calls? Well, no.
Yeah.
But this one with him, again, had used, emails, that used social media. They'd sent pictures of children a lot. And
I think there were 3 children. They even sent a video,
and this was,
a Christmas video of the children,
yeah.
which
And
is probably some poor victim's children.
I mean, how many times do we get? Well, I sent him some pictures of the children. I don't think I should have done. I mean, I will say at that point, there's an awful lot of paedophiles online.
That
I wouldn't send a picture of my children.
Right.
Whether, and a scammer will use what he gets. So hours later, I do believe that he believes us now. He sounded like I've left him to Denise. You know,
A poor
she's our closer. She's like, you get a contract and you need it closing. It's Denise.
She's got a lot more patience than the rest of us, I
She
think.
does. I don't know where she gets it from. Miss
I
Kathy. There's Kathy.
It's that Southern upbringing because they're always so polite. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. And
You do.
so I think that's where she gets a lot of it. She's the way she was raised. She's polite and she's kind and she has so much patience. And bless her heart, sometimes I wish I had her patience.
I see people sending, what they would say to her, and I would sit and fume. But, she will answer back, yes, ma'am. But have you thought about this? And I'm thinking, that's such a good reply. I wouldn't have thought of that. I would think, have you ever thought about this? That there is, never mind. But yes, I'm going on a course to the deep south to get some politeness and some patience. But yeah, that is, I mean, that's only two. That's only two gentlemen we've had. Now, I think that these guys are going to be out of it. I think that if they're not at this moment completely out of it, because both of them wanted a bit of revenge.
Right.
Those scammers are not going to get anything else.
No. And sadly, these poor
Hi,
men,
Gina.
they'll try and get revenge and it's not going to happen. I cannot see anything scrolling up. So if you see comments, go ahead.
Hi, Elsie.
There I see.
I can see I can see
Elsie.
Gina, and we've got Kathy. Yes, Gina, it's all screwed up. I mean, if you look on our page, it doesn't look as though we're having a live. So I'm very impressed we've got anybody.
There I finally see Kathy. It's starting to scroll. So
yeah. So Instagram seems to be having a bit of a Christmas break.
I don't know. I hope things go better with the live with Dustin later.
No. Well, do you know, I went to do a thing with Pim Eyes today, and they're doing improvements as well.
Hi, Carla.
Oh, hi, Carla. It was just, I mean, it kept telling me what to do if I didn't like the outcome of it, and if it was me, and if I wanted my pictures taken off it. I'm sat here thinking, I just want to know who it is that I've sent you the picture of. Oh, thanks, Kate. It's just actually not for me. Still isn't.
I think it depends on what device you're using Pim Eyes on. I think I had better luck on the computer than I do on my iPhone.
It's just technology, they're not really smart, are they? Smartphones are not really smart.
No, not really.
So what we've been talking about, and we're going to have a little bit of a meeting, and I'm not here next week, and I'm not coming on. I may as well tell you now. It's no good me saying I'll be on when I can. I won't be. I'm going to London to meet Dana.
Yes, and
who is
I'm so excited, but you guys need to do like a short video with both of you together, please.
Yes. We're going to do a together live. We will do that. But Dana is romance scam spotter.
Right.
So we are meeting in London, and we're going to be ladies on the town.
I cannot wait to see. Dana needs the break. You need the break. It will be great.
It will be very, very different because because we're not at home. You can be very much divorced from it,
Right.
I'm going to yawn again. But we need a plan of attack for 2025 because everything isn't working.
Well, I noticed that some of our other advocates on LinkedIn are saying they're kind of, scams are bigger than ever. And sometimes they feel so
It
discouraged
isn't it?
because we all started out, so gung ho,
Yeah,
but scams are getting bigger and better, and it's just getting to the point where a lot of people are getting discouraged, especially where none of the social media sites are taking, and they're not being accountable for the crimes that are going on their platforms, and they're not taking care of it. And honestly, I think that would help a little bit, but there's so many anti-scam groups and advocates and people behind the scenes that are
yeah,
trying to fight all of these cyber crimes, and
yeah.
there's just really not enough people.
I mean, if you knew that we belong to a BEC group called BEC Global, if you knew who was on there, because we've got the FBI, we've got the fraud departments of the major banks, we've got people like Intelligence for Good, who are the big people in online fraud, and we're just shouting against the wind, you know.
Right.
And I will tell you about. I did send that one that I was telling you about this morning. Um, because they've been looking at they're going to try and change the name of pig butchering. When something's got a name, it's really difficult to change it. But anyway,
Yeah, because pig butchering sounds so, I mean, it's like you're slaughtered.
it is,
you know
and it's pig. The word pig,
right.
people
And
don't like because
I noticed one person I was reading on LinkedIn today that she's actually a psychiatrist or psychologist that specializes in romance scams, and she was saying that, and she was kind of discouraged because she was saying that another group of people took some of her videos and kind of broke them down and used it against her instead of something as helping. Um, I'll have to send you the link to it because I
yeah.
kind of felt bad for her because she works really hard. It's Kathy.
Mm.
I can't
No,
think of her last name
I
right
can't
now.
think of a second name. But Kathy from the conference last year.
Yes,
Yeah,
and she she does. She's really good with romance scam victims. She puts out a lot of videos on YouTube, and for somebody to turn around and
have a good
break it down,
wherever you're going, Jada. Yeah, because there's not enough people dealing with this, so we need we need as many as we can get. Um, and there are too many people who know it all, like a certain page that we often talk about.
mm-hmm.
Um, now there is a page. I'm not gonna give his name. Um, I've just said his name, and he's the only one with a man, you know, in charge of it. But never mind. But he will have a go at everybody. He will criticize everybody, mainly us. But he will criticize anybody because he is the only professional in the world that does it. He's not professional at all. At all. But we should all be working together.
Right. I mean, there are people that have degrees. They may not be in psychology or cybercrime or whatnot. My degree's in accounting. But I don't care what my degree is. I'm still, working as an advocate for
Yeah.
this and trying to help victims. And yeah, the accounting comes in handy sometimes, but it's not something that I pictured myself doing when I got into accounting. So, and there's so many people with other degrees that are working as advocates and
Yeah.
against these reforms
I mean,
that
don't I didn't go to university because I joined the Navy, so mine was definitely University of Life. But you know, um, because I joined the Navy, you get a lot of people knowledge. Then I worked for the police for, I don't know, I can't remember how long, about 12 years, I think. Um, Now, not as a police person, I was as a dispatcher, but that teaches you a lot of skills and it teaches you a lot of people about people. And I think everybody that we've got brings a set of skills. with them, and we put those skills together, and we do
Yeah.
have people who are better at some things than others.
Right. I mean,
Right.
my degree again was in accounting, but I worked, in public service with
Yeah.
that degree for 17 years. So I worked with the public a lot, and mostly people on vacation or recreational, but still you get angry people on vacation if things don't go just right.
Exactly.
And so there's always a skill set somewhere in every one of our backgrounds.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a lot of embassy contacts within the diplomatic service. That's really good because there's always somebody that you can ask.
Right.
I don't like to give. I don't like to give anything out if I haven't got it from the right side. I don't, I Google all sorts of things, but if it's really important, I like to get the person. But I want to tell you about this scam, and it was a lady. It was a lady. Now, she'd first been contacted from Bumble, the dating site, and she met Alfredo, who was a Los Angeles businessman. Now, he was kind and helpful, very, very sweet, very nice. Never, Denise, don't let him off with that, because he didn't. Please do not let him off with that. Tell him you don't believe him, and he met nobody for 20 minutes. It's a bit like, her, what was it? Was her mouth not working for 20 minutes or something because the microphone on her phone wasn't working?
Well, if he met her for 20 minutes and they are in a relationship, why don't they have any photos together? I mean,
he didn't have time. He didn't have time because he only had 20 minutes. And also, you've been talking to a person who lives in England, who is then living in the same country as you are, and is about, not at that time, but is about to fly off to Ghana, so you're not going to be with them. You meet them for 20 minutes.
Yeah, 20
Anna
seconds.
Maria,
Yeah, like it.
Anna Maria, you didn't meet this woman. This woman is a Russian porn star. She's not a nurse. She's not anything. I've got her name somewhere. Oh, there she is. Elena Karabut, Russian porn star.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me get back to Elijah. Well, he wasn't called Elijah, but we Alfredo. Now, what bothered me with this? The lady lost $5,000 in the end because he built the trust by presenting himself as kind and helpful. Eventually, convincing me to invest $5,000 in a cryptocurrency platform called PegasusCapitals.com, which he claimed was legit and trustworthy. Who are the only race on earth to use those words? We know that, but but it is. It's something.
Kind of like real babe. Yeah. And this website.
I'm legit. Things, if they are real and they don't feel the need to say them. So anyway, she put $5,000 in. He then, because she passed that test and she paid the $5,000 in, and don't forget, $5,000 would break me.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I haven't got $5,000. I've got nowhere near $5,000, and if I did have, I'd have to pay it off my credit card. But $5,000 to a scammer is nothing.
Right.
They can go out and spend that. They can go out and spend that, and I just do something.
Well, when they're bringing in, some of them 10, 20, $30,000 a day, 5,000 is nothing.
Chiddy, what do you want in on? Come on, Chiddy, what do you want in on? I actually can't. If I read out your bio, being my skin colour, they'd probably ban me. But Chiddy, come on. I want in. I can't do it in a Nigerian accent. Can you? Can you do a good Nigerian accent, Sandy? Anybody, ladies? I'm wanting. Right. So poor little Chiddy is an engineer with vertigo. I think he might not understand what that means. But he's an NIGGO that gets everything done. So I've got actually a little nickname for these people, and I call them Ian, Niger Ian, because it doesn't tend to get pulled up.
Yeah, we don't get banned for that. Yeah,
Honestly,
hopefully we can. Why are you mocking me now? Why not?
oh, I'm mocking you. Where's the mockery? Where's the oh, poor little Chiddy. Poor little. We're going to have some fun for a few minutes, lady. Just carry on, talk amongst yourself. Chiddy doesn't like being mocked. Chiddy's got vertigo and he's an engineer. And he's a producer of something. I think you're a producer of bullshit, but that's only my opinion. So, Chiddy, you want in what exactly? Come on, boy. You've got 1 minute because I've got the block button.
He must not
So
know what go is.
And he changed the name on his account 3 times, so God knows what he's called. Because, but he says he's called Chiddy. Everybody, ladies, if you have a look on our list, we have somebody called Your Gammer. And his real name is Chiddy. Chiddy what? I don't know.
I don't know if you can see this or not. Oh, it went blank.
Yeah. So, ladies, if you would like to all concentrate on Chiddy, Your Gammer, because poor little Chiddy's got very, very sensitive feelings and he wants in, but he doesn't actually tell me what he wants. But he doesn't like to be mocked.
And he's got a teddy bear.
At least it's your real name. Yeah, Ruth's my real name, Chiddy. That's Sandy.
Yep.
I'm very unimpressed at your profile picture. Because
most of them that use bears for their profile picture or within their profile, I really can't say, but we all know what bears are.
Yes. Chiddy, now, I just want to tell you that, do you know the sort of people who use bears and have bears? It's a little bit of a code, Chiddy dear. Now, I am going to tell these ladies your secret, but it's safe with us. Chiddy is gay because
what are bears?
Bears, what are bears? They are gay men who all get together and do things that gay men do. Usually all together.
And if they have bears, they're called hairy bears.
Yes, that's right. So that means Chiddy's gay. Now, he can't really admit this because they don't like gays in Nigeria. So Chiddy has to pretend he is an engineer with vertigo, but Chiddy is actually a gay bear. He's a hairy bear.
Yeah.
Chiddy, well, your secret is safe with us, Chiddy dear, because we would not tell anybody that you're gay. Your secret is safe with us.
Yeah.
Now, I'm bored.
Chitty is a bear. Chitty taught other men as
Kathy,
a woman.
Kathy and Denise and Gayleen. Poor little Chitty. Chitty Bang Bang really goes well with the gay man, doesn't it?
It really does.
And that's what bears do.
Bang
Bang.
I have nothing against these hairy bears. Some of these guys are very, very nice.
Lovely.
But,
they're lovely men.
Yeah, their country does not like.
No. In fact, in Islam, in Nigeria, it's actually you're not allowed to be gay. It's a crime. You can get murdered for it.
Yeah. They'll stone some countries.
They can. Stoned in our country is either too many drugs or too much gin. In their country, it's really serious. It's like murder. But never mind, chitty chitty. Your secret's safe with us.
Yes. Us and all 30,000 of our followers on Instagram and almost 80,000
Yeah.
on Facebook.
And everybody's going to see it, because after it goes on here and after it goes on Facebook, do you know what happens, chitty chitty? It goes on YouTube.
Oh, and TikTok.
Oh, TikTok now, because Joe's on. Yeah, goes on TikTok. So it's seen by, I don't know, about 200,000 people.
Maybe. So,
But you're fine, chitty chitty, because you've got a hairy bear as a profile picture. So don't worry about it. It's very good. I mean, who'd think? You know,
he left the conversation because I don't see him anymore.
he has gone. He says he gets everything done. He doesn't say who he gets done. Right. Oh, that was a bit of fun, wasn't it? Next. Anyway, I want to tell you this story about this scam, and I can't get to the end of it. So anyway, we've got this woman who sent $5,000 in from a fake cryptocurrency website called PegasusCapitals.com. And I don't know what happened with that one, but he decided, hi, Hadia, she's been awful to you and she's ignoring you.
No, she
See?
actually sleep on my lap. Haven't you heard her snoring?
Yes. That did he was snoring. So anyway, then they decided Giddy's going to know what to think about it. I think he might be regretting it a bit. Yeah. So then they decided they've changed websites. They changed platforms, and they would go on to a website called excelwave.com. Now, what we do always is we look to see the company that's hosting that website. Yes, that's right. Next, they will come, because we've got Dustin later, and Maria. We get loads with Dustin. It
Yes.
can be. So we're going to try and get Sandy in as well. So me and Sandy are having a threesome with Dustin, and that's just the mood I'm in now after chitty chitty. Right, now let me get back to this. People, women, honestly, they just sidetracking me. So they used excelwave.com. So we always look at the hosting company, which is the company, they can make a website, but they've got to have a host to have the website on. Now, this one is hosted by a company called Confirm Host. Let me tell you about Confirm Host. Our major offices are in Nigeria and Ghana. Our main office address is in the University of Nigeria in Elgin Street.
Now that's a dead giveaway, but and that may be something that would be good for us to put on Facebook, is how we look that up.
Yes, it is, Sandy. It would be very good. We can maybe do something on Animoto with different steps and where we go to and everything.
Yeah.
The who is type stuff.
Yeah.
Because it tells you a lot. Some of the websites, and I'm going to give a big shout out here to Namecheap.
Yes.
Because they are a massive web hosting platform. But I can put a post on and I can say, we've got, excelwave.com. It is hosted by Namecheap. And we can do that. It can be a fake bank, it can be a fake military site, it can be a crypto site. We tag Namecheap onto that post, and I bet you within 20 minutes that site's gone.
Yeah, Namecheap is really good about closing those websites. Hostinger is another one that will close them too, but Namecheap is really good.
Hostinger, in fact, that other one, Pegasus Capitals, is a Hostinger one. So I've got that one to email. But yeah, I mean, Namecheap, look out for our tags, and they actually will they have a look. They'll send us a thing and say, we will look into this. But I can guarantee that within 20 minutes, that site's gone. And I just think that's wonderful. I wish the world the same. So we can do a lot. We don't take anything for granted. Now, the thing about this woman, she found out that it was using no. She found out the man in the pictures was a man called Elijah Miles Breckel. But he video called it, didn't he?
Right.
So he was the scammer. And I don't think, the number was a VoIP number. We'll do a video on that one as well. VoIP, Voice over Internet Protocol. Basically, a number that you go online, you register, and you can use it on your cell phone anywhere in the world. You can use it on a cell phone like this. And they're all scammers' tricks.
Yes. And even though we might put some of this information out on, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, we still do not mind looking this up for anyone that comes.
Always.
We would rather come and ask.
We have a site that we have been given access to. It's not our site or anything, but we have been given access to it. Thank you, Patsy. And we can look up any United States telephone number, and it will tell us whether it's a landline, whether it's a cell phone, or whether it's an online number like the one that they're using. And it's really good information.
It really is.
Yeah. It helps such a lot. But my point with this was the fact that she had a scam, which seems to fall into the right category for a romance scam, but it was him. And he then decided that the Facebook account that he was using, he would hide behind the name Sally Yeon and change the picture to a Chinese woman, as you do. You know, it was very difficult, and I don't believe that she believed me, to tell her that Elijah was not the scammer. And one thing she said to me as proof that he was the scammer? Sally Yeon did have an Instagram account.
Right.
And Sally's Instagram account followed Elijah's real Instagram account.
Which is how she found out who the real person in the photos was, but that is not proof that he was
no
scammer. In fact, if you looked at all of the followers on her account,
but I mean, if you look on any of the guys with a lot of followers, they haven't got time to go through them all, so you do get a scammer who will be following the real person. Now, the thing was, the real person was not following the scammer.
No.
But because the scammer was following the real person, he was the scammer. I couldn't get her logic there.
Yeah, I couldn't either. And it is hard to convince somebody when you get one thing set in your mind.
Yeah.
This is one thing that is bad about doing your own investigating is you come up with your own answers that make sense to you. And most of the time it is incorrect.
Because you've got the picture of the man in your head.
Right.
Because you've had maybe 30 pictures at this time. You've got all these photographs of this man by this time. Now, the problem with her accusing Elijah is the fact that she sent $5,000 before she looked him up.
True.
So much better if she'd done it before she sent the $5,000. I don't know how we're going to change that. That's our challenge for 25. is getting
Yeah, it's
people to look from the start.
yeah, look from the start, do not send money. I mean, at all.
No.
If we can get people to stop sending money, that would be a huge help, because we were talking billions of dollars
Yeah.
worldwide that get funneled into scammers, and then various child slavery, selling
I,
of children,
I mean, I
anything.
remember when I first started to do this, and Marie was still alive at that point, and we were doing a bit of research, and there was a site where Boko Haram were boasting that they were basically running themselves off romance scams. Now, was that just mob? What was that real, or was it just never guess what we do? But I sort of believed it. It was a funny thing to say if you didn't mean it, because that you very much aware of romance scams. But I sort of believed it because of the way Boko Haram are, and at the time, Boko Haram were the biggest terrorist group in Nigeria. Um, So this woman still believes, Elijah is the scam, which is so sad. So very,
Yeah, because I
very sad.
pastor contacting him. I,
Yeah,
I bet she does, which is going to be awful for him.
and unnecessary.
Well, and didn't we
So
have a gentleman on earlier, or maybe a day or so ago, that was talking to Policio?
oh,
Is that how?
Kathy, yeah,
Yeah,
he had her as Kathy Palacio. That's not her name, but Miss Palacio. Yeah,
yeah, and he had actually turned her and her commander and someone else into JAG, which is like the attorneys for
yeah.
military, and he was going to let us know what came of that. But I can tell you what's going to come of that. Nothing.
Nothing, nothing at all. Um, I'm not going to name names, but I'm going to talk about the gentleman I had the video call with yesterday, who is one of our good friends that we've had for years, and he is used in scams, and he lives in California,
Mm-hmm.
and he is going through a lawsuit at the moment
Right.
because a woman who was a victim, he is used everywhere. He's used a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He worked out. He told me yesterday that we had closed over 3,000 fakes for him. He had a number, and
Oh,
he's kept that because we've done it for a few years for him now. But he's kept that number, and she's taken him to court. Now she lost 260,000. Hi, Kathy. I'm still in the middle of doing our notice for our live, but I have not had a minute. If it hasn't been people coming in, it's been things going wrong. I am on it. I've got live with Kathy in the morning.
oh goodness! No wonder you're taking a vacation next week.
Yes, I need one. No, it's. I've never known it as busy, Kathy. Never known it as busy as this. So anyway, getting back to this gentleman. Now, I have my reservations about two things. One, the lawyer, who should never have taken the case.
Right.
The lawyer is an Asian gentleman, and his first name's Lagos.
Oh, that's right. Isn't that?
Yeah, that really a coincidence too far. Now she has, so he actually asked for a court appearance, and he wanted him and his attorney to turn up with her and her attorney in front of a judge. I think that's a very reasonable. No, she has taken out an injunction against him because she's so afraid of him. She can't be in the same room as him. But she will bargain this. She lost $260,000, but if he pays her $460,000, she will drop the lawsuit.
Where the extra 200,000 grew from is probably her attorney fees.
Stress and everything that she's been through.
Because she's so scared of him.
Yeah. Now, as I said, that's awful. I have to say, I think it probably would only happen in America, because I may be wrong. There must be bloodsucker lawyers everywhere. He should never got to court. Absolutely never should have got to court. But he is being put through hell, and he is very, very, he's angry, but he's also upset. This guy has a wife and a couple of kids. He's got a very good business. He's one of the nicest, most polite people that you could ever meet. If he wants you to do something for him, it's always please and thank you, isn't it?
It is. I really like him. We've been dealing with him for a long time.
And maybe because he's so nice, he's an easy target. Because he won't turn around and tell her where to get lost, as we would do. But I feel so sorry for him, because he shouldn't have to go through this. And this is all because she has been scammed by others of a different nationality. She's got no proof it's him, other than those pictures.
And his sister's supposed to be involved.
Oh, that's right. His sister, because, well, during the scam, he was very ill, you know, as they do. And his sister, apparently, so-called sister, who was as nice as he is, his sister contacted the victim and said that would she pay some money because he needed medical treatment. So she did, apparently. So not only is this woman suing him, this woman is suing his sister, who had to be told all about